Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Stando TV, and with E3 right around the corner, it's coming up pretty fast and pretty soon. I thought I would give some of my predictions of what I think I'm going to hear announced at this year's E3. And to be honest, I played it pretty safe. There is one kind of wild hair out there that I've got in my predictions list, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Here are the things that I think are going to be predicted at this year's E3. First off, let's start talking about Bethesda. Now, I don't think Bethesda flagship studio is going to have anything for us. We're not going to hear about the next Elder Scrolls or the next Fallout game anytime soon. But what I do think Bethesda is going to have in store for us is we're going to hear a lot about Quake Champions, because it just released, right? Or is getting ready to release. And we're going to hear a lot about probably the next Wolfenstein game coming from Machine Games. I expect those two things to go hand in hand. I expect there to be a new a new Wolfenstein game, and to hear a lot about Quake Champions. But I also think that enough time has passed from Evil Within that we should hear an announcement on Evil Within 2, because I think that game did well enough and found its audience and did well enough to merit a sequel. So I think that it would be a safe bet to say that we hear something about Evil Within 2. Now, when we talk about EA, of course, we're going to hear about the next Madden, the next FIFA, and whatnot. And we're going to hear about this year's biggest shooter, right? We're going to hear about Star Wars Battlefront 2, because I think they're doing Battlefront every other year now and have Battlefield biannually also. So one year we get Star Wars, one year we get Battlefield, one year we get Star Wars. That just makes a lot of sense. Good job on them. That way they're not making their franchises that old. They keep them fresh every year by giving you a space shooter, a realistic shooter, a space shooter, a realistic shooter. Yeah. But with EA holding the reins to the Star Wars franchise as far as video games are concerned, I do expect some more Star Wars announcements. And primarily, I'm hoping that we hear more from Amy Hennig's Star Wars game, the action-adventure Uncharted-like third-person Star Wars game, whatever she's got working on over here, the single-player story-based Star Wars game. I expect to hear a lot of that at this year's E3. When it comes to Ubisoft, right, I expect, look, Ubisoft has let us know everything that they're going to talk about at E3 prior to E3, so there's not a whole lot to predict here. You're going to get your Assassin's Creed Origins, The Crew 2, Far Cry 5. It's returning of all of their franchises, their biggest franchises at one E3, getting ready to release over the next year, right? So they pretty much, you'll probably hear a Just Dance thing or something like that. I don't even know what to predict for Ubisoft, except maybe they announce something crazy like, I don't know, their season pass plan over the next year. One of the biggest things that I would like to see Ubisoft announce is, okay, our paint-by-numbers approach to video games and open-world sandboxes is not what you're necessarily looking for, and we're going to change that up. That would be a huge announcement just on its own merit, meaning that these games are no longer going to be climb a tower, do the same 5 side missions 20,000 times throughout the campaign in order to level your character up. That would be exciting, but it's Ubisoft, so we'll just have to wait and see if they actually say something that bold. And I know you're saying, well, Stando, they wouldn't necessarily say that on the E3 stage. Well, don't they have Aisha Taylor or whatever her name is that does, dude, she's bold and she says whatever the fuck she wants. Now let's talk about Xbox. With the Xbox One Scorpio, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about that and a lot about 4K games and it being the most powerful console that we've ever seen. And we're going to hear a lot of talk about that. But when it comes to games, Microsoft doesn't have a whole lot in its pocket outside of the State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, and I'm sure that Sea of Thieves or whatever, and Forza. So they don't really have a whole lot up their sleeves. So from Microsoft, I expect a new IP being announced to go with their Xbox One Scorpio, and this would probably not even be a first party announcement. This might be a third party Xbox One exclusive announcement that may come to PC later or something like that. But what I am expecting is a multiplayer new IP for the Xbox One Scorpio. And the reason I say a new IP is because Phil Spencer has been very blunt about wanting to get more new IPs that are centered around games as a service long term, much like Overwatch or a Destiny or one of these other big, huge multiplayer games that are out there. Since the Xbox One Scorpio is so close, and we've had enough time since the last Halo, and it's easy probably for 343 to flip Halo, and they've been talking about how the next game will focus more on Master Chief. I do expect either a Halo spinoff or a Halo 6 game to be announced in order to put Master Chief on the new Scorpio. Now let's talk about Sony PlayStation, right? PlayStation has a lot of games coming up, and they have a lot of games in their back pocket that they've already released. So we know we're going to hear about the Uncharted DLC coming up. We know we're going to hear more about God of War. We know we're going to hear more about Days Gone, and a lot of these things that are already out there. But I would expect for Days Gone and God of War, one of these games is going to come out this year, and one of these games is going to come out spring of 2018. That's a prediction. One of them comes out this year, and one of them comes out next year. We're also going to hear a lot more about Spider-Man on the PS4, which is pretty exciting. But here's a bold prediction: Sucker Punch, who we've not heard from since Infamous Second Son. Of course, Sucker Punch being the ones very much responsible for the entire Infamous franchise, but also for Sly Cooper. I want them to hear them coming out with a new IP as well. I want to hear that they've put Infamous to bed and to rest, and that they're working on something new. And I think that it's been long enough that we will eventually hear something from them soon. We'll either hear at this E3 or we'll hear it at PSX. But I'm going to go ahead and make the prediction that it's here at this E3. When it comes to Square Enix, there have been reports out there saying that not to expect Final Fantasy VII Remake or Kingdom Hearts 3, probably not over for another 3 years, which is kind of disheartening. But there is one or two reports out there that strongly suggest with inside sources that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to make its way out in spring 2018. So while I don't expect to see Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff at E3 2017, I do very much expect to see Kingdom Hearts 3 with a release announcement at this E3. And that's probably a little bold, but I think that this game has been in the oven and in the cooker long enough. And here comes my wild heroine, guys. CyberPunk 2077. I don't think that game's coming out before spring 2019. I think with their government grant, they have to have it completed by June of 2019, right? So if they do like The Witcher 3, where they showed a lot of progress and showed what the world was going to be like and what the story was going to be like a couple of years before it actually released, I think we can bet that the same thing is going to happen with Cyberpunk 2077. They need to start getting us invested in this world and showing us what they're working on and what they have polished and ready to show. I think we will see something about Cyberpunk 2077 at E3 2017, and we'll see it this year and next year, and then it will release in the spring of 2019. That is a complete wild hair prediction, but I think it's a safe bet as well. That it's kind of a wild hair, but safe at the same time. And a lot of my predictions so far have been pretty safe, I admit. But guys, it's hard to imagine. I mean, nobody imagined that we would be getting a Final Fantasy VII Remake when it got announced a couple of years ago. Nobody, Shenmue, nobody saw that coming. Crash Bandicoot, for real? I mean, yeah, they kind of hinted and everybody's been wanting it for a long time, but to actually get Crash Bandicoot Remake, like nobody saw that coming. I think it's been, E3 is a magical place where things get, where gamers get surprised by these press conferences and some of these announcements and things, and I can't wait to see what each company brings to the table to blow us away. Now, I didn't forget about Nintendo. I just don't like talking about Nintendo because they like copyright claiming my content. So as far as Nintendo goes, they'll probably announce a Smash game. There you go. Most importantly, guys, remember that these are predictions. This isn't actual fact or based on anything other than what we've already heard or what to expect. These are just predictions. This might happen at E3. It's not a set in stone that this is going to happen at E3. These are just predictions. I'm not reporting on the news here. We got the blue background, not the red one. And even though my predictions were safe, yours might be pretty bold. And if you've got a bold prediction, I want to know all about it down in the comments below. So just fill it up with your predictions of what you expect to see at E3 2017. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and a like and share it with your friends. And also don't forget to check out standotv.com for everything that we're doing around the web. Also, you can visit us over at twitch.tv/standotv for live Let's Plays and follow us over at Twitter at standotv. Until next time, guys, remember that I love your face, and we'll catch you next time. Have a good one.